Have you been to the position where your air conditioning just stopped, or you're hearing weird noises outside, say a loud clunking noise, say noise, something in this nature, and you wonder what the problem is, and perhaps your air conditioning may not be functioning up to par as one would like. So, and then again, at some point you call the technician or the heating and air guy or handyman or whoever, or attempt to fix it yourself, and you wonder, and they tell you your condenser fan motor's bad. So what is a condenser fan motor? Simply, it's just a motor. It's nothing high-tech, nothing abstruse. Has a few wires on it. Different ones are configured differently. The many condenser fan motors have either a 3 or a 4 wire system. The brown wire would go to the capacitor. Now, do keep in mind when attaching this to the fan terminal on the capacitor, one needs to understand and know what microfarad the capacitance is. So if the motor calls for a 5, you use a 5 microfarad. If it calls for a 7.5 or a 10, you use whatever the motor calls for. So one way to think of a condenser fan motor, if we took and put the shard on here like this would rotate like this. So if one, an analogy, and it's kind of thinking kind of an oblique way to think, but hypothetically, if if they have a ceiling fan in their house, then think of this fan. It's different than a ceiling fan. This fan motor, it may be stronger, much stronger than the ceiling fan. The ceiling in your fan in your house may run off of 120, 115, somewhere thereabouts. This motor here generally runs off of 220, 240, somewhere in there, maybe 208. I'm not exactly sure. It's whatever the motor calls for, but it's normally you have 2 hots and then on the condenser fan motor. So when one turns the ceiling fan on, perhaps the reason one may do this is to move and to circulate air. Well, in correlation, this is used to move and to circulate air. The difference is this motor here is not necessarily used to circulate air, to feel air across your skin or in the room, to keep air in the room. This motor here is used to circulate air because one has refrigerant that is compressed. A low pressure vapor enters into the compressor. It's compressed. It's a high pressure vapor. So once it's a high pressure vapor, this motor here, it spins and it pulls across these louvers, and it pulls air in this direction, and then say this is the condenser, and then the air exits here. It's used actually, as opposed to cooling your skin or feeling air across your skin, it's used to cool the coils so that the refrigerant can condense. And once the refrigerant condenses, it basically it will actually turn the refrigerant back from a vapor to a liquid form. So it goes from the low pressure to the high pressure, then it goes through the liquid line, then it goes through a TXV, which is an acronym for thermostatic expansion valve, or a metering device, which lowers the pressure. It's like a pressure reducer, and then the refrigerant begins to flash and starts to begin to turn into vapor again. So just think of the condenser as a way to move air, like your ceiling fan, but it may be a stronger motor, but the reason you're moving air may be different than the reason you're moving air with your ceiling fan. Your ceiling fan may be moving air just to circulate air in the room, to keep it from feeling stale, etc. It also may, if you have an air conditioner, you may want to move the air there, and it may feel better on your skin or whatnot. It's difficult to say. But now this condenser fan motor moves air, but it moves it across the coils so it can cool the coil, and the temperature coming out of the condenser where the fan grate is at, like so to speak here, when in the summertime, if one comes and puts their hand about 1 foot to 2 foot above this, they may feel hot air coming if the air conditioner's running, because it's pulling the air in this direction here through the louvers, and then it's taking the refrigerant, if everything's working properly and fine-tuned properly, and then it's discharging the air, so it's removing heat from the air conditioning system and the coil. I don't know if system's the correct word. It's reducing it should be reducing the temperature from the coil, so the high pressure vapor turns back into a liquid. So this is the difference between a condenser fan motor and, say, a ceiling fan in your house. Now, both of them move air, but the function of moving air would be, the outcome would be a little bit different. And so this would be to pull air across the coil, to cool the coil, to discharge the air, and so the refrigerant can turn back from vapor to liquid. The ceiling fan may be to make the air feel cooler on your skin, just to keep it from being stale, or moving air conditioning around the room. So this is the function, and that's kind of an analogy. It's kind of thinking outside of the box, but basically both fans are designed to move air, but the outcomes are different. So a condenser fan motor for a heating and air conditioning. Thank you for watching.